Hello friends, welcome to this particular session of features or characteristics of Indian agriculture. In this particular session, we shall try to understand the fundamental characteristic or features of Indian agriculture in the last 70 years. So any student of economics, any student of rural economics or Indian economy is supposed to understand the basic canvas of Indian agriculture. So by way of this particular video, we are going to present or discuss only few characteristic or the major dominant characteristic of Indian agriculture which has been there for the last 70 years. So any sample rural village, if you take in India, will be having all the characteristics which we are going to discuss in this particular video. So let us go to the first characteristic. The summary of all these characteristics is given in the first slide itself. In the very first point, it says the Indian agriculture is basically a subsistence agriculture. Subsistence in the sense the agriculture which is just sufficient to feed the family members of the farmers and not enough to generate surplus for market. Similarly, there is excess pressure of population on agriculture. This characteristic has been there for decades together. That means there is excessive burden of population on the land. This is the second characteristic. The details about these individual characteristics we shall be discussing in the further slides. The agriculture activity in the entire country, excessive importance is given to the role of animals. Role of agriculture labor and the role of animals happens to be very dominant in the agriculture occupations. Similarly, the farmer totally depends upon the monsoon for his agricultural production. So the production is entirely dependent upon the vagaries or uncertainties of the monsoon happens to be the basic characteristic of Indian agriculture. Apart from this, the variety of crops being cultivated. On the positive side, the main feature of Indian agriculture is that in spite of being dependent mainly on monsoons, variety of crops get cultivated during the seasons like Kharif, Rabi, and so on. Among all these crops, you find the sixth characteristic that these crops are mainly food crops. The farmers are basically focusing on cultivating the food crops. The details about it in the further slides we shall try to see. There is an insignificant place given to the fodder crops. Fodder crops in the sense the crops which are as animal food are considered as the fodder crops. So these fodder crops do not find a significant place in the overall cultivation plan of the Indian farmers. Last but not the least, that is the entire agricultural activity is based on the seasonal pattern. The monsoon pattern determines the type of crops which will be cultivated by the Indian farmer. All in all, these are the, in summary, some 8 fundamental characteristics of Indian agriculture. Now let us try to look into the details of each and every of these particular points. First, it says that Indian agriculture is subsistence agriculture. What does it mean? That most part of Indian agriculture has subsistence agriculture. Means though agriculture happens to be a dominant active economic activity in our country, it is done by the Indian farmers to support their own family members rather than generating the surplus so that it can be marketed. The farmer owns a small piece of land which is called as an uneconomic holding. In the sense that the average size of land holding in India is very small, and such kind of small holdings in economics are called as uneconomic holding, and the crops which are grown with the help of the family labor and consumes almost the entire farm produce with little surplus to sell in the market. So basic characteristic and the problems together are highlighted in this particular point. The characteristic is that the average size of land holding is very small, even though it is very small, called as an uneconomic holding. On this small piece of land, the entire family is working because the corresponding development in the other sectors is not there, which can absorb the surplus labor from agriculture. and most of it is consumed. Most of the cultivated crops are consumed for supporting the family, which generates less surplus to be generated for the market. And as a result, the farmer is born in debt, lives in debt, and dies in debt because marketable surplus doesn't get created in the agricultural activity. The type of agriculture that has been practiced in India for the last several hundred years and still prevails in spite of the large scale changes in agricultural practices. World over, yeah, there have been significant changes in the way in which agricultural activity is done. Means mechanization has been introduced in very many countries, but still depending upon the family labor, producing the crop only with the focus on family consumption and not with the focus on creating a marketing surplus is the basic and the fundamental characteristic of Indian agriculture. So subsistence agriculture happens to be the main important characteristic of Indian agriculture. Let us go to the second point. The second point says there is excessive pressure of population on agriculture. Pressure of population on agriculture. The population in India is increasing at a rapid rate and exerts a very heavy pressure on agriculture. We know that the cultivable land is given, but the rate at which the population is growing, especially in the rural areas, you'll be finding that that creates a very much heavy pressure on already burdened agriculture sector. Now, this kind of an increase in population could have been absorbed in industries and in services, if at all, the corresponding growth in those sectors would have been there. But in rural areas, you find that this entire population continues to depend on the agriculture itself. Agriculture has to provide employment to the large section of the workforce and has to feed them, feed the teeming millions. It indicates that not only as a source of employment, but it also has to feed these people. Feed in the sense it has to support by providing the food to these excessively we can say the generated population, and these are in economic terms known as the disguisedly unemployed people. They are in agriculture, but they are absolutely not contributing anything to the agriculture. So particular peculiar phenomenon of Indian agriculture due to the heavy pressure of population is that there is a phenomenon of disguised unemployment, and this happens to be one of the important characteristic or a significant characteristic of Indian agriculture. Now, because of the present need of food grains and oilseeds, agriculture requires more land for cultivation. Presently, the land that is being used only for the food crops now has to be diverted for other food grains and oilseeds also. So pressure of population on land being very high and the phenomenon of disguised unemployment being existing in the rural areas has to be understood by any student of Indian agriculture or any student of rural economics. Now let us go to the third point. The third point says that agricultural activity in India or in the rural areas is basically giving more importance to the role of animals and agriculture labor. Animal force has always played a significant role in agricultural operations such as plowing, irrigation, threshing, transporting the agricultural products. So all kind of agricultural activities, the role of animals you'll be finding. And the role of agriculture, the disguised labor is also found in all these particular activities. There is no focus on mechanizing the operations and thereby improving the efficiency of agricultural operations. Here it sees that complete mechanization of Indian agriculture is still a distant goal, and animals continue to dominate the agriculture scene in India for several years to come. So any person who visits the Indian rural village, this is a common sight that for all kind of agricultural activities, the predominance of the animals is there in the agricultural activities. But as the society develops, the role of animals is substituted with machines, and it is called as mechanization. But this kind of mechanization of agriculture has still not taken place to a great extent in the Indian rural areas. Also, the animal help the farmers for getting some extra income. It means that the farmer is not only taking the help of animals in agricultural activities such as plowing the land, transporting the agricultural produce to the nearby marketplaces, but at the same time, it is helping him to generate extra income. So there is more than one reason for the farmer to continue his association or continue his involvement of animals in agricultural activities. So unless and until mechanization is taking up, we'll find that the production and productivity in agriculture will be on the lower side. Let us go to the fourth point. The Indian economy or the Indian agriculture totally is dependent upon monsoons. Indian agriculture is mainly dependent upon monsoon, which is uncertain, unreliable, and irregular. There are a number of years in the last 7 decades, you'll be finding that where there have been very heavy rains, which has spoiled the season, agriculture cropping season. There have been seasons where there have been continuous droughts for 2 to 3 years, 3 to 4 years continuously. So the Indian farmer is entirely dependent upon the vagaries of monsoon. Vagaries of monsoon, so uncertainty of agricultural production, uncertainty of the income that is getting generated, and uncertainty about the support to his own family is looming large always on the face of the Indian farmers. So this is a very, very important characteristic which is holds true even today. Since independence, there has been a rapid expansion of irrigation and infrastructure. Now, in order to change the situation, there has been a rapid expansion of irrigation facilities in our country. At least in Maharashtra, you'll be finding that the crops such as grapes, crops such as sugarcane use a lot of irrigation advancements which the government of India and the respective state governments have actually implemented. In spite of these large-scale expansion of irrigation facilities since independence, only one-third of the crop area is provided by the irrigation system, and the remaining two-thirds of the cropped area still depends on monsoon. It clearly says that though the government of India has made sufficient efforts to improve the irrigation facilities in our country, but still only one-third of the cropped area is being provided with the irrigation facility, and 66.66% still is cultivated based on the vagaries of monsoon. So basic characteristic is that Indian agriculture is still monsoon dependent, which every student of rural economics or every student of agriculture economics has to understand. Fifth is a positive point. What does it say? Yes, it all depends upon the vagaries of monsoon, India is a vast country with varied types of climate and soil conditions. The variety of crops which India is able to cultivate, that kind of variety, no other country in the world is able to do that. That is only because of the different types of climatic conditions and different type of soil conditions, which are the gift of nature, right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. From Gujarat to Assam, you will find different type of climatic conditions, making them suitable for cultivating different types of crops which are required not only for our country, but for the world. Therefore, large variety of crops are grown in India. Broad variety of crops. The basket of variety of crops which gets cultivated in our country is unique to our country and unique in the world also. Both tropical and temperate crops are successfully grown by our Indian farmers. Very few countries in the world have this kind of a variety of crops compared to that produced in India. So in spite being heavily populated, in spite being dependent only on monsoon, in spite being we can say for cultivating only due to the family labor with animal we can say the contribution and less mechanization, but still there are some positive characteristics and features of Indian agriculture is that the variety of crops which our country is able to manufacture, that kind of variety doesn't exist in any part of the world. Let us see the sixth point. The sixth point or the sixth characteristic of Indian agriculture is that there is a predominance of food crops in our total crops that are cultivated in our country. Since in Indian agriculture has to feed a large population, production of food crops is the priority of every farmer in our country. We know that we are the most populous country in the world immediately after China. So the mouths to feed are very high and the hands that work are very less. So a lot of mouths to be fed, and therefore the priority happens to be of all Indian farmers to focus on the food crops when compared to the commercial crops. When compared to the commercial crops. And due to this, what happens is the revenues that get generated are very low. So the farmer who lives in poverty continues to live in poverty rather than progressing from a low income earning farmer to a middle or a high income earning farmer. That kind of a progress we are not in a position to observe. However, in recent times, due to urbanization and commercialization, there is a decline in the share of land being used for food crops. Recent years data shows that farmers are now slowly realizing that they have to shift from focusing on food crops to producing commercial crops if they have to economically progress over the years. So the focus on food crops and less focus on commercial crops is slowly changing, but this change is requiring certain time. And that is the reason why the progress in the rural areas is appearing to be very slow as far as the economic prosperity of the farmers is concerned. Let us go to the seventh criteria. The seventh aspect says that the seventh aspect clearly shows. What does it show? That there is a insignificant place given to the fodder crops. Insignificant place given to the fodder crops by the farmers. What it indicates that it simply says that although India has the largest population of livestock in the world, yeah, very important point here. That means the livestock in our country is the largest in the world. Fodder crops are given very insignificant place in our cropping pattern. Fodder in the sense the food crops which are required for animals. And this is having a very less focus in our cropping pattern of our Indian farmer. Though we are depending on animals for cultivation purposes, but still fodder crops are not having a significant place in the crop cultivation. Only 4% of the reporting area is devoted to permanent pastures and grazing land. So out of the total cultivable land, only 4% is being devoted the for fodder crops. This is due to the pressing demand of land for food crops. Again, the excess pressure of population compels the farmers and compels the government to always focus on food crops and not to diversify the crops for commercial purposes or for the fodder crops. Now, due to this, what is happening is the result is that the domestic animals are not properly fed and their productivity is very low when compared to the international standards. When compared to international standards, the cattle in Indian agriculture, which contributes, is very weak, and as a result, their productivity and production is very low as far as their contribution to agriculture activity is concerned. Now, let us go to the last characteristic in this presentation. The last characteristic of Indian agriculture clearly shows that it is a seasonal pattern. It follows a seasonal pattern, and we can say the modern agricultural practices, like for example, those seen like greenhouse cultivation, which are seen in Israel and other developed countries, are not found, but they are entirely depending upon the seasonal pattern. India is a top producer of many crops in the world. Based on the season, there are three main seasonal patterns in our country, and these three seasonal patterns are summarized in this particular table. So the students of agricultural economics and the student of rural economics should know always that there are basically three seasons: Kharif, Rabi, and Zaid season. The Kharif season is between June and July, just at the starting of the monsoon season. After 4 to 5 months, the harvesting season. The harvesting season starts, and the main crops which are cultivated during this particular Kharif season are rice, jawar, bajra, maize, groundnut, sugarcane, jute, turmeric, pulses, and others. So these are some of the significant crops which become suitable for cultivation during the Kharif season. Immediately after the Kharif season, the Rabi season starts. After completing the Kharif season, the Rabi season starts in October, November, when the rains are ending and the winter starts. Winter starts. During the winter season, which is classified as a Rabi season, which ends in the after 4 to 5 months in the month of April, May. In the 6 months, after 6 months, it ends in April, May. The major crops which are suitable during this time period during the Rabi season are wheat, oat, gram, pea, barley, potato, tomato, onion, oil seeds such as sunflower, sesame, mustards, and other. In between these Kharif and Rabi season, you have what is known as a Zaid season, wherein during March to June, that is between Rabi and Kharif season, the farmer focuses on cultivating those crops which can be cultivated at a very fast rate, or those crops which are maturing very early. They are maturing very early, and these crops are cucumber, bitter gourd, pumpkin, muskmelon, and moong dal. So basically two major seasons, that is Kharif and Rabi, wherein you find maximum amount of food grains and the fruits, etc. are getting cultivated. In spite of all these variety of crops, they are basically dependent upon the monsoon. So these were, in summary, the characteristic of the Indian agriculture, which are true even today after 70 years of planning for agriculture. So in summary, in our last slide, we shall just try to summarize our presentation by saying that agriculture in India is predominant activity. Predominant activity. It is not a business or it is not a commercial activity, but it is a way of life of Indian farmers. So agriculture is a way of life. And due to the heavy pressure of population, the productivity in agriculture is very low. Yes, we know, though it is a way of life, due to the heavy pressure of population, the productivity and production is on the lower side. The excessive dependence on monsoon makes agriculture production very uncertain. There is a lot of uncertainty. What will be the total tons of crops that get cultivated at the end of either Kharif season or at the end of Rabi season? Furthermore, use of agriculture or a family labor and animal-based production techniques, the marketable surplus for agriculture is very low. The agriculture policies over the years are attempting to reverse this particular trend by focusing on providing irrigation facilities, encouraging cropping pattern, and developing allied activities. So the government of India, right from 1950, is making an effort to improve the situation in the agriculture, wherein to remove the pressure of population on land, it is focusing on developing small and medium enterprises in the rural areas and to provide alternative source of employment for the disguisedly unemployed people. It is again focusing on cottage and village industries and trying to encourage cropping pattern and crop diversification and trying to inculcate the spirit of commercialization of agriculture rather than focusing only on food crops and cultivating only those crops which are helping to support the farmer's family. So this is in nutshell the overall picture of Indian agriculture, or the characteristics or the features of Indian agriculture which are true today even after 70 years of independence. I'm sure by way of this particular video, you are in a position to understand the entire characteristic and the features of Indian agriculture. Thank you very much for watching this video.